Bucknutters. It's Thursday, September 8th, 2016. I'm Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and Change, joined on Thursdays, as always, by Steve Wiltfong, Director of Recruiting for 24/7 Sports, and Mr. Mom for the past few days. Steve, how are you?
Good morning, Daniel. I'm doing well. I'd be doing a lot better if my man Terry McLaurin got in the end zone on Saturday. I'm just kidding. Buckeyes looked fantastic, and it was fun to watch them. Fun to watch so many guys touch the ball, they got one more tune-up before they got to go to Norman and play what's going to be a ticked-off Sooners team.
No question. And McLaurin, as I told you off air, was open deep a few times. I think you can expect to see plenty of him going forward. But we must begin with Steve giving the people what they want. So, as you well know, on this podcast, I've been using it as a personal love letter to J.K. Dobbins to make sure he doesn't decommit and head to Texas, which is why I was rooting for Notre Dame, though I realized about 75% through the game that it didn't matter what the result was because Texas looked respectable and it's probably all they need. But you, on the other hand, took it another step further, thankfully. After the game, you spoke to J.K. Dobbins. You referred to me in your article, which means we're definitely going to talk about it. So bring us up to speed on your approach there and what Mr. Dobbins had to say.
Well, certainly I had to write a story about the momentum that Texas was going to get from that win over Notre Dame. Charlie Strong is one of the best head coach recruiters in the country. I'd put him in that category with Urban Meyer, Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, and Charlie Strong. Those are the four guys that do it, I think, better than anyone else from a head coach position at a major school. There may be some head coach, PJ Fleck, does a phenomenal job, but he's not on the same stage. So, to put him in that same sentence right now, it's apples and oranges. But so now you got Texas. They have a big win against a good Notre Dame team, and in the wide open Big 12, they're obviously a contender. And I think people expected Texas to be better, but I don't know if I thought that I don't know if I thought they'd be double-digit win good. They certainly are double-digit win good. Obviously they still got to play the games. So I have to write a story about Texas for 24/7 Sports and just the recruiting momentum. And I do think when Texas is on, they're going to be tough to beat in state, just the same as LSU's tough to beat in Louisiana. Ohio State's tough to beat in Ohio. Those are the best three home state advantages. You could maybe put USC in there as well. In California, when USC's clicking, they don't lose to UCLA, Oregon, and some of the others for guys they want. So it's going to be tough to go into the Lone Star State and beat the Longhorns if they're winning games like the ones they won Saturday. So I reached out to some of the high-profile guys, Walker Little, the number 2 player in the country, and J.K. Dobbins. I came across his name when I was looking at our highly ranked Texas guys, and it's like, what? Now's the time for me to reach out to J.K. I don't like to reach out to kids every week to ask them about their status. I had never heard one thing to make me think that J.K. was wavering on his decision, but it's a topic that came up on the Bucknuts Morning 5 every Thursday. We would talk running backs. So I was like, what, to hell with it. I'm going to ask J.K. if the Texas win did anything differently for him. And so I can pull up the dialogue. I can pull up how I asked it and his response just to give you guys a feel for it. So I asked J.K. So good morning, J.K. Hope all is well. Writing a story on Texas Longhorns in-state recruiting following last night's win. Watching that offense. Does UT give you a lot to think about moving forward? ? Appreciate it. And then he wrote back, no, sir. I have a home and it's the Ohio State Buckeyes. Adding, Texas looks really good though. So, I hated that I had to ask, but people want to know, I guess, and I understand. I understand that it's, you got Texas writers writing that J.K. is still in the mix for Texas, and maybe he is, but what he told me, I got to go with, and what I'm hearing, and So I still think he's firm, and he'll have a tremendous opportunity to make an impact as a true freshman anywhere he goes, but certainly at Ohio State as well. He's a terrific player, rushed for over 2,700 yards as a junior, rushed for over 2,000 yards as a sophomore. He's the best athlete in America outside of maybe Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's fast, he can catch the ball, he's elusive, and he's powerful.
Which makes it all the more wonderful that his response was what it was. There you have it, Bucknutters. You can not get more inside pool than that. I don't think this means I'll stop asking about Dobbins just to kind of ease my anxieties, but that's definitely positive news. If the first word is no when he's talking about others, we definitely like that. Speaking of potential Buckeyes, very interested to see an offer that went out on Tuesday to Bubba Bolden, class of 2017 safety. Kind of a new name on the radar. Not a new name to those in recruiting circles. Once committed to USC and a very highly rated player. Number 11 safety in the country, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite, and of course a teammate of 3 future Buckeyes, and Tate Martell, Haskell Garrett, and Tyjon Lindsey. What is your vibe on Bolden? You've seen him in person. We've not talked about him here. Where do you think he fits in as a player, and could he fit in with the Buckeyes?
Well, I think he's a physical safety that covers a lot of ground and likes to make plays on the football. He can fit in anywhere. We have him ranked inside the top 100 on 24/7 Sports, the nation's number 8 safety overall. He's a guy that's, been on the radar for several years. I think that Bubba's kind of wide open since he decommitted from USC. I could definitely see Ohio State getting an official, and then from there, we'll see. Obviously, he's got to get to campus first, but sounds like in reading Bill Churlick's article, he's got some genuine interest in Ohio State. That's going to be the case with anyone Ohio State offers at this point. So, we'll see what happens where he takes his other officials and takes an official to Ohio State, and then, we'll see. We'll go from there.
He's a nice-looking player, 6'3", 190 pounds, kind of your prototype center fielder. See Hooker, Malik. However, his recruitment's kind of been recalibrated here. He got an offer from Oregon last week, Ohio State this week. Crystal Ball claims he's high on Arizona State and Oregon, so we will keep an eye on the Bubba Bolden recruitment. It's hard to imagine if Ohio State pushes with that help, in-house help there, that they couldn't make a strong run at him. Okay, so if those of you who tuned in last week to the Bucknuts Morning 5, and by that I mean all of you, heard when we signed off that I asked Steve for a prediction on the Buckeyes this season. As you know, I was taking some fire throughout the offseason and to now for predicting that Ohio State will go undefeated and make the college football playoff. I base this on 3 factors: quarterback, coach, and roster. I don't think anybody on the schedule can match Ohio State for those 3 in total. Steve was a little less confident and had to write a mea culpa to the people. Steve, why don't you bring us up to speed on your view of the Buckeyes?
Well, I said 10-2. I knew they were talented. Don't get me wrong. And I just, after seeing them play, it made me think twice about it. Could they still go 10-2? Sure. I mean, there's still some really good teams that they're going to have to play as the season continues. But watching them play, it was a reminder of how damn good they are. And really, everything about the program is so well oiled right now, from Urban Meyer to his assistants to Mick Marotti to Mark Pantoni and his staff. Ohio State's not going anywhere when you start talking the playoff discussion. You're to the point where you pencil in Alabama for the playoff every year. If Ohio State gets in this year, I think we're to that point with Ohio State as well, where you're going to be able to pencil them in. They're just doing it on a different level, and that's no disrespect to the other teams in the Big Ten. But I just think the combination of Urban Meyer, strength coach, assistant coaches, off-field staff, you bring it together collectively, and what you see is 77 points in a Week 1 W. And we'll see what the Buckeyes do when they get Tulsa here for a 3:30 3:30 game here on Saturday. I'm looking forward to watching them play. Looking forward to watching Terry McLaurin get in the end zone. And appreciate you having me on every Thursday, Dan, so I can talk about Terry McLaurin.
I'll make a prediction that Terry McLaurin gets in the end zone this weekend. I'm told he's an avid BM5 listener. Let's hope JT Barrett is as well. To be honest, I have no idea if the players listen to the show. But we appreciate Steve stopping by. As you can tell, things are going well in Buckeye Nation. We can wallow in the greatness here every Thursday with Steve. Have a good one, Bucknutters.
Appreciate it.